welcome back to One Plant Short of Crazy. I'm Crystal. As you can see, we have a ton of splits from the last video that I made. What we're going to do right now is we're going to put these together and make some beautiful mixed pots. So I've got a couple other ones like Hoyas. I've got a nice little philodendron here. A couple things that we're going to add to the mix that weren't in the original pots just to add a little flavor. So we're just going to kind of grab and put things together. So first thing is I'm going to add some soil. And this is the soil mix from my previous video where I showed the soil mix. And this pot, let's see here, we'll do some micans. So we've got some philodendron micans. I'm just going to put that right on the outside and kind of spread them out a little bit. Make sure that they kind of go everywhere. Awesome. There we go. And I just kind of have them hanging on the pot there. And what we'll do is we'll add soil in after we get everything else hanging on the pot. So right now this is not enough for one pot. Totally fine. I'm also going to add an Anisani in there. So let's do a Monstera Anisani. This has a really good root base. As you can see right there, oh my goodness gracious, we've got a very long root. So this one will do great because it'll go all the way down to the soil here, to the very bottom, and it will pull up that extra moisture without hurting our plant. So I'm going to put this one almost directly in the middle. That way it can kind of fan out everywhere. And then the next one that I'm going to do is we're going to put some Brazil philodendrons in here too. So that way we've got some dark micans, we've got some green Anisani, and then we've got our beautiful Brazil philodendrons. So we'll put this one slightly in the middle. Again, we're going to fan it out so a little bit goes everywhere. Let's grab this Brazil philodendron. This also has a really good root base, so we're going to take this and we're going to pop it right in the pot here on the outside. So we're going to have a mix of 3 different plants in this one. It'll be micans, it'll be Brazil philodendrons, and Monstera Anisani. So once we get everything situated in here, let me show you. It's completely bare down there. Now we're going to start adding some soil. So I'm just going to go from the middle, use my fingers to kind of spread it along because we've got a bunch of different plants in here that need to get covered on their roots. And I want it to be nice and viney and pretty. And this pot here I can hang. So let's add a little bit more, wiggle it around. I'm going to add some on the sides too. There we go. Let's work on kind of wiggling it. You can gently just shake your pot and the soil will go down where it's supposed to. There we go, looking pretty. So here we go, let's add it over here. Yeah. I am going to push down slightly because I want to make sure that the dirt's really getting down there. I want to make sure all my roots are covered, especially on the micans because the micans are very dainty. They like to fall out. So there we go. Let's add just a tiny bit more here. There, another scoop. Make sure it's all around on the sides. There we go. All right, so this mix is absolutely perfect and done. Really super easy. I am gonna flip this up just a bit, make sure that there's some dirt behind it, and I'll push it down. There we go. So all the roots everywhere are nice and tight. And then when you water, you will be able to see if you have any gaps. So we're gonna water this one and we're gonna see if there's any gaps in here. Now I'm gonna water it behind me here to try to not make as big of a mess as I did when I was doing the splitting. So let me grab the hose. And we'll just take this and we're gonna water it over here. Oh yeah, nice and heavy. The soil is completely dry. I do not water my soil until I actually put the plants in it. So here is our first mixed pot. We've got some micans, Monstera andesani, and then back on the back here we have some Brazil philodendrons. Now what's really nice about the Brazil philodendrons is if I wanted to, I could take these and actually put them inside the pot here and they will root. So I'm gonna kind of train it to go forward through the pot in hopes that I will get some rooting done here and it will give me some more actual growth from in between where each one of the leaves are. So this is the first one. Nice and pretty. You can see the back there. All right, let's set this one aside and do another one. The next one is gonna be a big boy. So this is an extremely large pot. Because this is such a large pot, I need to make sure that I've got some massive root balls. So my Cebu pothos and my neon pothos both have extremely good root balls. So I'm gonna use those two. And then in the middle of this, I'm gonna add this philodendron and I'm also going to add this Hoya. So combined, it should do pretty well. What you can do if you have a pot this large and you don't have roots deep enough, you can add some rocks, some pebbles, whatever you want. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some leca. So I have here some leca that I use for rooting and propagating. But we're just gonna add some in the bottom of this. I want it to not soak up, or I'm sorry, I want the bottom of the pot to be a little bit hardy and allow for the extra moisture to drip down instead of just sitting in a big pile of soggy soil. So we're just gonna put a couple handfuls of leca in here. I think I'm up to like 10, haven't been counting. All right, so if we look in the bottom, we've got a good amount of leca down there. That'll help to make sure that we've got some good drainage. And then we're gonna put our Cebu. So this is a beautiful Cebu pothos. And I can show you, we have a massive root system here. So we're gonna add that one in after we put just a tiny bit of soil in here too. So I'm gonna grab soil. One more should do. There we go. All right, so let's take this Cebu pothos. We're gonna put this one right on the outside so that they trail. It's a beautiful plant. And then what we'll do is around the outside, we're gonna add some more. So our neon pothos also has Scindapsus, so you can see a really nice root system. I'm gonna grab all of them here, make sure that I've got them where I need to put it in. And then you can also see there's some Scindapsus. So let's add this one in. It's making it a nice tight fit in there, and that's what I want. You want, if you're doing mixed plants, you need to make sure that the roots are nice and tight in there, because if they're not, you run a serious risk of root rot. So nice and tight, big root mass, okay for mixing plants. So next one, I'm gonna take this one, which is extremely wet because I didn't realize that this does not have any holes in the bottom, and I had water sitting in it pretty much all morning. So, but this one, as you can see, has a decent root system. It's not as big as the other ones, so because of that, I'm gonna take a little bit of what was left in here, which is a mixture of sphagnum moss and my soil, and I'm gonna add it right where I want this baby to be, because I'm gonna sit it right on top, because this one is a little bit not as deep as the other ones, and I don't want it to be too far down and covered up with dirt. So we've got 2 plants here, 1 plant here, 1 plant here. We're gonna take our Hoya, which will do really, really well. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in a moss pole before we add the Hoya and before we add the rest of the soil. That way, I can actually train this Cebu pothos up the moss pole, and I can allow the Hoya to grow. So over on the side here, I have a dry moss pole. We don't want it dry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get it completely wet. Now, in my previous videos, you can find the DIY moss poles and create these. I went through step by step on how to make it. But first, I'm gonna soak it so we can use it. So we'll give my plants over here some extra water. My hibiscus and my lilac bush will absolutely love it. But I really want this moss pole wet because I want the Hoya to latch onto it, and I want it to start giving me some leaves in the naked areas where you don't see any. So this looks good and wet all the way, yeah. So now that I have this wet, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go right in the middle of all my root balls. Right there, and then I'm gonna shove it down. Haha. All right, so that is straight up and down. It's in a wonderful spot where once this one starts to grow, I can start wrapping it around. And then once my Cebu is nice and comfortable, actually, I'll probably wrap this around tomorrow. I'm running out of energy today. This is my third video. So we will probably do that at a later time, and then I'll just show you in picture land. So we're gonna keep this one like this, and then we're gonna put the Hoya right behind it. Okay, stay. So for the Hoya, it's so pretty, and we've got some new leaves growing on it. But this is extremely dry, so I've got to make it moist. I can't squeeze terracotta pots like I do my other ones. So we just got to get it super, 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 super wet so I can pull it out. All right. Haha. There we go. Oh, of course, the moss pole falls. It's okay, because once I add dirt, it won't. So for terracotta pots, I don't like them. They just dry out way too quick, and I don't like not being able to pull my plant out. But this one I was able to pull out really well. As I mentioned in the video where I pulled and separated all my plants, this is from a wonderful gal that's in my local plant group for buy-sell plants. So she gave this to me in a plant clipping exchange that we were doing. So let's see, this one's like falling. Let's turn this around so it's up against the pole. Haha, that works good. And then this one, I'm gonna add just a teensy bit of soil underneath it because it's not as deep as I have for the Cebu or the Neon. So we'll add just a little bit, and then I'm gonna turn it around so that it'll lay up against the moss pole. And we're just gonna drop that right on in. So now, if I wanted, I could grab something and tie this around, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm actually going to stick it through one of the actual holes back here if I can. Nope, yep, I can. Nope, I can't. But we'll wrap that one around. So now that we have everything in, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add our soil. So this one here, Neon, will be able to wrap around the pole too, which is fabulous. So we can kind of go like this, get it started, use the leaf to hold it. We can also take my Scindapsus here and do the same thing. We're gonna kind of hug the pole. So if we hug the pole, it'll grow onto the pole. And then once we have that, now all we're gonna do is add our soil. And we're gonna have to lift some plants, go underneath. All right, I'm gonna start in the back here. And we're just gonna add some and let it fall down. I'll use my hand to move it around. Perfect. Push it down a little bit because it's not down there yet. There we go. Now this is the point where we got to kind of hold the moss pole up. We're going to put some dirt over on the other side so that we help it stay. Pull up all my leaves so I'm not burying them. There we go. Perfect. Getting that dirt down in there to hold everything in place, trying not to cover up the plants. So you never want to cover up your leaves. You want to try to get those leaves staying out if you can. Obviously, some of them, if they're lower, they just might not. If that happens, they may die off. Totally fine. Just rip the bottom one off. Whoop, wrong pot. There we go. Also, when I water this, it's going to move that soil around and let me know how I did. This Hoya does not want to stay up, so I'm going to angle it just a little bit, and I'm going to tuck it underneath some of my other ones here so that it kind of holds. There we go. Let's go like that. All right, perfect. It's not quite holding, but it's up. All right, so we're gonna go underneath the neon, make sure that we've got enough here on the neon, especially by the moss pole. We don't want the moss pole to fall down and pull all of our plants. And now comes the fun part. So we're gonna take all of the Cebu, we're gonna lift it up, tuck the little roots in if there are any hanging out, and we're gonna add soil. And it's kind of hard because it's a small spot since I put it right up against the edge, but I like it up against the edge because I love viney plants hanging everywhere. It's one of my favorite things. That looks good. And then the last thing is we're gonna go in towards where the moss pole is, and we're just gonna make sure that it's all filled in around it. So for that, we're just gonna kind of move a little, dump a little, and then water a little. And the water is what's really gonna bring my soil together and make it fit. There's one more spot I can see under the neon pothos. So we're gonna move this just a little, dump that in. There we go. All right, so this is a beautiful pot. I can't hold this over the edge to water it, so unfortunately with this one, I am going to hose again on my table, which makes a huge mess, but I can clean it up. And my strawberries behind me get extra soil, so they're happy. All right, so let's add some water and get this baby good. See how all of the potting did. Let the soil sink in. Now, because this has a moss pole, when I water it, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna water down the moss pole. If I water down the moss pole, it'll keep the moss pole moist. It'll water the rest of the plant. Now, keep in mind, if you do have a moss pole, you're adding extra moisture, so you wanna make sure that you're not spraying it or doing anything like that. It could create mold and different things. Try to only water your moss pole once, and that's when you water the plant. There's no need to mist it. It'll dry out in between waterings, and that's totally fine. All right, it looks like we got the dirt in here really well. I'm gonna just kind of go underneath here and make sure it's totally watered. So that piece looks absolutely beautiful. I love the different colors on this one. I really like the moss pole. I just love the way it looks. So if I turn this around, let me clean the leaves off. There we go. So let's turn this. So we've got Cebu pothos in the front, some neon, we've got a Hoya wrapped around, we've got a Hoya in the back, we've got neon pothos in the back, and Scindapsus pothos. So we've got a beautiful mix here that's definitely gonna grow and be happy. So let's move this one aside. All right, let's see. The next one we're gonna do, let's do Philodendron cordatums, Philodendron Birkin, and let's grab a Mangala and an Andisani. I think that's gonna be beautiful. So let's get going on that one. Move all of these aside here. There we go. Ooh, let's throw a snow pothos in there too. we'll go all sorts of crazy. So for this one, I'm going to use my green one. This is pretty decent. It'll work really well because these roots aren't as big as the other one, but they're still good. So I don't need to add leca in the bottom of this one. These ones taper down enough to where I'm not worried about too much moisture being in the bottom, and I know how to water. I let my plant dry completely almost. Where I pick it up, I can throw it over my shoulder. So let's just get this one full. Okay. Now, one little scoop more. Here we go. All right. So first, let's do Mangala. Love Mangalas. So for this, I want one over here. And these ones are in multiples, so I like this. We're gonna actually leave these ones for a smaller pot. And we'll use these over here for this one because these have a little bit longer. So I'm just gonna hang this on the edge just like I did for the other one until we add the soil. So there we go. And we're gonna space them around and make them look nice and pretty on this one. For the next, let's do our Monstera Andisani. There we go. So we've got this Monstera Andisani here. It's got a nice root system, just like our other one. So we'll take this, I don't want to break it up, and we'll just hang it over on this side over here. So it'll be closer to me. I'll turn it around so you guys can see. But we have some air nodes and different things that I'm going to put in the soil here too, so it'll encourage it to grow even better. There we go. Perfect. I like it. I love it. All right. So we've got Monstera Andisani coming out the side. Let's put some Philodendron cordatums in. I've got a couple here, but the last couple pots, I only have one or two more that I'm going to use here. So this one we'll put on the outside and hang out over here. That one's going to look really good. I can even split just a little bit, and we'll put some of these. Let's see. This one is going to pop out, so we'll put it in for fun. And we'll hang it kind of on top of soil here. There's no there's no leaves on that one, but it's fine. We'll put the other cordatum here on this side. Hang it on the edge again. I like to hang them on the edge because it keeps the stems out of the pot. It makes it a lot easier to not run into any rot. So we've got Mangala, we've got Andisani, we've got cordatum, and then let's do a snow. We've got two over here. I'm gonna just grab this one. Actually, we have three. So we'll do a snow pothos, and we'll put the snow. Oh, let me pull that up a little. There we go. We'll put the snow pothos right in between the Mangala and the cordatum. So we're filling this pot up with a ton of roots, and we do this so that it grows right. We do this so it's just like you had one really good plant that needed to size up into a bigger pot. In this case, we just have multiple. Totally fine. All right, I want to add Brazil philodendron, or no, we're doing the Birkin right in the middle. So for that, I'm going to grab the little one, and we're going to put this little cute baby just right in the middle there, but I can't add it yet because it needs some soil. And then I'd like to add a Hoya too. So for the Hoya, we're going to do a Hoya carnosa and put this bad boy in, but again, the roots aren't as big, so we're going to add a little bit of soil before we put the Birkin and this one in. So here we go. I'm just wiggling it around. It moves it exactly how it needs to be. It's nice when you do that. There we go. And essentially what's happening is there's just a thin layer of dirt on top of that root mass. So when I put the Hoya in there and I put the Birkin in there, it doesn't have that much soil to go through to rot, because once it has the soil, the next layer is roots and then soil again. So mixed pots are all about making sure that you have the right depth for the plant that you're putting in it so that you don't run into root rot. So we're gonna move this one from the side and add some soil in. Perfect. Move it around just a little bit. There we go. All right, now it's ready for our Birkin and our Hoya, because now we don't have too much more to go before the top. So for this one, we're just gonna squeeze gently. And I want to take a look at the roots, because I didn't root this one. This was another one. Yep, there's good roots there. I can feel them. So we're just going to plop this one on the side. And we need just a tiny bit more soil in there, right where I want it. So I want the Birkin in the middle, and I want the Hoya right next to it. So we've got two, and I'm gonna add soil while I hold it. So essentially the Hoya and the Birkin are my centerpieces. There we go, that's kind of better. Now let's grab that little Birkin right up here. We'll clean it off really quick. There we go. This one has a nice root system, so I'll dig just a little bit down to where the other roots are at, kind of help it out and get a little bit in there. And then we'll just kind of hold both of these while we add. And there's actually an extra Hoya there, so I'm gonna put it on the other side. There we go. All right, let's hold this bad boy up. Just like so, and add dirt. And add more dirt. Whew. Covered everything up. That's all right. All right. So we've got this in here. We're kind of holding it, pushing it in, making sure it's going. We're going to have to water the crud out of this because I've got dirt all over my leaves. Totally fine. Just take care to not leave it there. We're going to pull these up and add a little bit of soil underneath them in the back side. Make sure I don't get the baby leaves. Push down just a bit. That looks good. It's got a leaf covered up. All right, let's go behind this side too. Make sure that we add all the soil that we need. And again, we'll water it. We'll let the soil kind of fall back down. We'll let it settle where it needs to be. We're going to add a little bit more over on this side here too. Make sure that it's completely full. Again, bring up the side slightly. Okay, so let's water this and see if we need more. So we're going to clean off the Birkin. We're going to clean off the Hoya. It's got a nice little mess here. There we go. That's going to root in there really well. The Birkin, I'm pulling kind of up, making sure that it can grow. And then let's just add the rest of the water here. All right. So this pot is done. Okay. All right. Next pot is a little bit more shallow. So for this one, we're gonna look for any ones that didn't have a lot of extra roots. That way we can kind of put them in and it's not too deep. So we'll use the Snow Pothos. We'll do this one in a bigger one, so we won't do that. We'll do the Mangala again. I love mixing pothos together, but we're only gonna do these two. We'll keep this one for our final. We'll keep the Anisani in there as well again. I like that. And then let's do Brazil Philodendron. So let's grab Brazils and see how many we can grab here. This one looks good. Awesome. So we'll put that one in. We'll put this one in. And then we'll put this one in since it fell out. So we'll do all of those. And then let's see if we can do a couple micans or if these are all connected. What do we have here? Oh, we've got this funky one. We'll put the funky one in that rooted from both ends, and we'll put it in kind of towards the top like this so that we're able to get multiple micans on there. And we'll throw this Hoya in that's rooting. That'll be really nice in there, and we'll just put it right in the middle. So I'm gonna add some soil to my mix. There we go. We're gonna take a Brazil. We'll take another Brazil. We'll take another Brazil. I love Brazil philodendrons. We'll let this one go towards the inside so it can start growing. And then we'll put another Brazil on the outside over here. We'll grab our Mancala, put one over here. Grab another one, put it on the back. We've got this one that is our squiggly wiggly one, so we're gonna add it kind of here, and we'll put it slightly down, and then we'll wrap this around down in the bottom slightly so that it can kind of root, and we'll lay this one all the way up against the side like that. So now we've got a bunch of node areas that are gonna hit in the middle. And then we'll take our Snow Pothos and we'll put our Snow Pothos in kind of in the middle here. That way we've got a really nice full pot. And then we'll do one more Snow Pothos, and I want this one over on the side here. There we go. We're gonna add soil, and then I'm gonna add my Hoya right in the middle. So let's add some soil in. Gonna literally cover up my little leaves here, and I don't care. I'm just gonna move them, make sure that they're not covered at the end of the day. But I want my stem covered for that one that rooted in two different places, because that'll give me some more babies coming up from that area. The only problem is the middle section that has our leaves on it. I do not want that completely covered, so they're gonna kind of hold up a little bit. All right, this is looking lovely. So I'm just kind of making sure that the soil's all over where it needs to be. There we go. Got some other nodes over here that want to grow, so I'm just kind of having them touch the soil. That way it can encourage some new growth. And then our last one here is gonna have a bunch of goodies in it because we're gonna throw as much as I can in.
It's called biting off more than you can chew.
that Hoya. Nice root system on it too. I'm just gonna lightly cover up the roots for the Hoya. It's gonna be my little centerpiece here. I'll grab a tiny bit more soil, and now I'm gonna water. Alright, that looks good. No gaps in there. All the leaves are uncovered. That looks wonderful. So we'll set that aside.
Okay, while I was recording the last video, my phone decided to die. Kind of one of those things that happens when you record 3 videos back to back. And so unfortunately, I don't have the video of the 4th pot that I made, but I do want to show you, as well as all of the pots that were finished that are sitting behind me. So for the one that I finished, that is the largest, let's see if I can grab it. Oh, okay. Woo, it's sticking on the table. There we go. So the 4th pot that I created here, I have Cebu pothos, I have Brazil philodendrons. Right smack dab in the middle, I've got a philodendron Birkin, I've got Monstera andersoni, snow pothos, Mandala pothos, I think I said it right this time, and I also have some, my rooting leaf here looks nasty. That was the original one, totally fine, I'm going to leave it on. But as you can see, this mixed pot turned out absolutely beautiful. I have about 2 inches of leca in the bottom of it, followed by my normal soil mix. Did the same exact thing that I did on all of the other ones. I absolutely love this one because of all of the Cebu trailing. It's just gorgeous. So I'm going to keep this one for me, but the other 3 I'll put up for sale. So let me show you the other ones. The first pot I made, I believe I said that I could hang it, and I have. So I put this one on a hanger, and you can see just how pretty this one turned out. And mind you, it's been 1 week since the video. Everything is doing absolutely fantastic in all of these pots. I'll show you the one behind me here that you guys all saw with the moss pole. So it's got a little bit of water still coming out because I just watered these. So this one, you can see that it has the moss pole, and already I have a couple points on the Hoya that I wrapped around with the naked node spots that are already starting to grow. So it's hard to see, but there's a little part here, a little part here, and it's all because it's touching that moss pole for the added moisture. So these are so fantastic to add in, or not hanging. I really enjoy vining pots. And then the last one I really just watered, and it's gonna drip all over me, so I'm going to be gentle here. All right, so the last one, this was the second in the video. It looks fantastic. Everything's happy on it. I'm gonna put it back before I get a shower. All in all 4 of these pots turned out absolutely beautiful. So I hope that after watching this video, all of you guys feel confident and comfortable with making some gorgeous mixed pots. I would absolutely love to see some of them in the comments. You can also go to my Facebook page, One Plant Short of Crazy. Be sure, if you guys like this video, to like, follow, and also hit the notification button so that you don't miss out on any other videos. As always, I am 1 plant short of crazy. Have a great day, guys.